Ha ha. You better choose yourself and let's get it. Welcome to another episode on the Choose Yourself channel. Now, our next guest on the next episode, Mr. Waren English. Met him in the gym when I first moved to New York City. I was lifting on a machine. Then he came over talking about, can I work in with you? I said, go ahead, big dog. He about 6'4", 220. I'm about 6'2", 220, but he looked bigger than me. I think because I'm thicky. They don't call me Thick King for nothing. I always been like that, way more than I look. When he got on that machine, he put that dang pin and adjusted the weight to the bottom. I said, what the, boy? Am I weak or are you just strong? When he got done, I lifted the most that I ever lifted on that machine because you train differently when you know what's possible. That's why you got to get around people who are doing the things you want to do. But if you are around people who are doing the things you don't want to do, well, take note, learn, and don't do that shit. Come on now. He's a health coach, fitness educator, former collegiate athlete, such as myself, and he bridges performance training, metabolic health, and practical longevity. Came over here from the Caribbean with his whole family, moved into a small-ass crib, and said it was tough to stay focused, tough to find privacy with all them people in that little New York City apartment. And I said, well, some people ain't got no family. He said, you right. It could have been worse. I could have had no one. And that's exactly right. Comparison can be the thief of joy or the booster of gratitude, depending what you compare it to. A man once complained about not having any shoes until he saw a man with no feet. Some of y'all won't do leg day. You better go find somebody who lives in a wheelchair. Some of y'all complain about your laundry. Go outside in New York City. People got shopping carts full of laundry. They ain't washed it in years. Unless they got into one of them wishing fountains with their clothes on. I'm just saying, a lot of people came from worse and are doing better. So why not you? Okay. Find a community, get some inspiration, take action in the foundation. Now, you know we visited the pillars of the TEFIC, Choose Yourself process, TEFIC. Triggers environment, foundation, investment, contribution. That's how you fill up your cup and then pull from an overflow. The process is in the shape of a V. You start the top left, trigger. Once you turn that trigger point to a turning point, you start realizing that the environment is triggering you to go back to your old ways. It's triggering old thoughts, old emotions. Once you realize that, you become aware of it through research, reflection, mind growth, community, testimonials, stories. Next time you experience that, you flip it to a turning point. Now, that becomes the catalyst for radical growth. The next phase, you go down to environment evaluation because you eliminate. Top left of the V, you go down the left side to the middle point of the V. Evaluate your environment. Eliminate distractions. Eliminate those triggers. Eliminate that victim mentality. Eliminate you acting on your emotions. Then when you get to the bottom peak of the V, that's the foundation. Because that's the base of it all. That's where we create a buffer between our triggers, between our addictions, between our instant gratification and the ramp on the way up. Because once you set the foundation, then you start to go up by investing. Now you start adding new things into your environment. Now you start adding new thoughts in your head. Now you start adding new conversations into your relationships. That's why we on the way up of the V, okay? You go down, eliminate triggers, eliminate toxicity out of your environment, set the foundation, reset, recalibrate, refocus. Now you're on your way up, invest. Now you change your environment with positivity, alignment, purpose. The final top right tip of the V is contribution. That's the overflow. Upside down volcano. Okay? So get your V game on point. Mine is, because I train core every day. Got the V muscles, what you're saying. Now, Waren had a few triggers. He has his degree in pharmaceuticals, but found out shortly after that is not in alignment with what he wants to do. One of his trigger points was injury, tore his ACL. I tore mine, but that didn't trigger me to choose myself. What triggered me was that dang jail time. That's what triggered me. I said, I ain't about to be up in here. These dudes ain't washing their hands. They up in there. I don't know what they be touching in their cells. I don't know who they be. Listen, the food got your breath smelling and your poo smelling and your gut messed up and the water got your lips dry and your throat dry and your pores clogged. Torture in there. But it was only jail. It wasn't prison. Okay? Know the difference. I'm grateful. That's what, like I said, comparison can be the booster of gratitude. I was in there like, at least it ain't prison. At least I know I'm getting out. Okay? So find a way to stay positive in situations that you may categorize as negative. And as a species, we are overfed, undernourished, undermoved, overstimulated, and somehow confused on how we still confused. Well, because you keep saying you want to do one thing and you don't do it. You choose excuses and comfortability and convenience. And I only say you because 70% of people are overweight. So 7 listeners of 10 on here is going to be overweight. I ain't never been overweight, but I've been neglecting myself before for years. Read the book, Choose Yourself to be Chosen, on Amazon and Barnes & Noble. Or you can tap into the first 6 episodes of this podcast. I go over the Choose Yourself process and my story and how I got here. Now, the funny thing is people going to clock in for money. They'll clock in for a boss they don't even like. But they won't wake up 30 minutes earlier to take care of the body that they have for life. Well, eventually you'll get to the trigger point of losing health, time, relationships, money, clarity, maybe lose your kids. You better have your health because the storm is on the way and you ask for flowers, so don't complain about the rain in the terrain. But can you weather the storm so that you can see and smell your flowers? Waren quote, without clarity, the only thing that can give you any type of confidence at all is action. He ain't lying because you can pray all you want, but ain't nothing going to happen without action. You can take action without prayer, but then your vision going to be blurred. So you need the combination of both, faith and action. And then some compassion to get over it and get after it if you're disaligned. All right? Treating your body like a hoopty. It's more like a premium rental car. You're using this body for a little bit till you return to your creator, and he going to evaluate your choices by your physique. What's he going to say about how you've been treating his creation? Would you walk into church and just litter? Would you walk into a museum and just start pissing on the art? Well, that's what you're doing. Come on now, but you know I'm about the balance. You know the formula. 80% healthy, 20% fun, 100% happy. Life can't be redone, but you got to bracket your celebration with the foundation, all right? That's why I don't do religion, because they don't condone the 20% fun. So I'm like, well, guess I'm not religious, because I believe the beauty of life is the ability to enjoy, indulge, explore, experience, expand. I believe the beauty and the foundation and the systems comes when you're able to bounce back from your celebrations to get right back on track, not get stuck in a consumption loop and a downward spiral. Now, injury is the most common psychological trigger point that leads people into long-term health or fitness identity shifts. Some of y'all in pain right now. Your back hurt, your neck hurt, your gut hurt. But are you going to make a change? If you need a community, we tap in every week, the Choose Yourself community. DM me for that, and let's grow together. Now, Waren moved from the Caribbean to South America into a little bitty one-bedroom with his family. Couple siblings, both parents, but he had both parents. He had family. He came here following his grandpa's lead. So that's a lot of things to be grateful for right there. Our environment influences 60% of our daily health behaviors. So don't just be mindful about what you feed your face. Be mindful about what's on your feed, who you follow, the people you message, okay? Technological energy, I believe, comes back around. That's that tech karma for you. How you use tech is how tech gonna use you. Now, the foundation, Waren is a huge advocate for this. I respect him, even in his transition between his passion, between countries, between trying to find where he fits in the American dream in New York City. He still found a way to exercise, rode his bike, found time to walk if he couldn't hit the gym. And he said, I couldn't give up my health. That was the foundation. And he ain't lying. It goes health, time, relationships, money, all right? And consistent movement is going to improve your insulin sensitivity and cognitive function and your emotional regulation and your mobility. Everything got to move from the smallest atom to the biggest dinosaur. You got to move to be able to continue to be self-sufficient. And the universe will always reward those who are self-sufficient. Don't forget the mission. Not my mission, God's mission. To choose the version you were supposed to be before society tried to make you someone you're not. All right? Fitness is the anchor. And I ain't talking about just fit physically. I'm talking about fit scientifically. Nervous system, vascular system, digestive system, lymphatic system, Okay, all your systems need mobility. Come on now. Now, when it comes to investing in yourself, pillar 4 with a TEFIC, he chose learning over ego. Obviously, he's a smart guy, got his degree in pharmaceuticals, but he also chose mentors, curiosity, exploration, had multiple jobs in New York City trying to find where he fit in. Then he eventually led into peptides, which now he's an advocate for and a consumer of, which he said boosts his health. Now, peptides are fairly new to me. They had a bad stigma when I saw people's skin falling off of their body and the muscle deteriorating. Now you got a bullfrog head on a praying mantis body. What you doing? Trying to take the shortcut. I'm saying just go to the gym and eat right. Now I'm starting to realize, well, what they're saying is metabolic dysfunction is a condition. It might be self-inflicted. It's not genetic. More like synthetics, what it is. So he talks about the GLP-1 peptide. Helps with metabolic function, insulin balance, hormonal balance, helps with your cravings and your misbehavings. Now we got all natural gut repair solution that helps with all that. So tap in if this is intriguing to you and you ain't trying to risk your bone density, joint health, and muscle mass with synthetic peptides and companies who don't give a dang about your longevity. They profit over people. All right. So eventually he did his thing, bodybuilding, got injured so couldn't play sports, transitioned into contribution, didn't like the pharmaceuticals, transitioned into coaching. All right, he still stayed on track for his passion. It's just his system changed. So if this sounds like something you're trying to get that exercise and that inner size with, tap into the next episode. It's not about abs, it's about alignment. The tools do not replace discipline. They reveal it because your preparation gonna show when it's time to put in the work. You can fake the interview, but you can't stop from getting fired. Come on now. We got the book online. We got the Choose Yourself community. We got workshops. We got retreats. Obviously, we have the podcast. If you like what you hear, please leave a review because we're talking about expanding the community and boosting the movement to change 1 billion lives. And once we get to that goal, we're going for 2 billion. If you continuously reach your goal is too small. The goal is to grow. So I hope you tap into yourself before you tap out. Keep the gratitude in your attitude and always choose yourself.